Okay, let's talk about it. Who actually pays on a first date? Is it the one who asked, should you offer to split it? Or does tradition still hold weight? Well, in today's episode on 52, I asked Rodney Rabani, the expert dating coach and licensed marriage therapist, one of the most common but uncomfortable questions in dating. His answer might surprise you, and it might just change the way you show up on your next date. Are you ready to hear it? Let's get into it. F boys, breadcrumbing, ghosting. Oof. Sound familiar? Well, whether you're single or not, we're all aware that dating has become unnecessarily complicated. But honestly, does it really need to be? I think we should change it up. So on that note, welcome back to 52. I'm Kelly, a tech attorney here in New York.
I'm Rodney. I'm a marriage and family therapist and life coach here in Los Angeles.
And today we're going to tackle a question submitted by one of our listeners who's single and trying to navigate the often confusing dating world. In answering the question, we're going to provide some tips to help you successfully date and meet your special someone. And who better to help us out than Rodney, a renowned dating coach who has helped many singles navigate the ups and downs of the dating scene and find their special someone. For our listeners that are single, grab your coffee or tea and get ready to learn how to date with intention. It's a vibe. And for our listeners that are in a relationship or even married, we hope this helps you to further appreciate your special someone and maintain your relationship. Let's get started. Rodney, are you ready to dive in?
Absolutely.
So here's a question from a 23-year-old single in Los Angeles who's trying to make sense of things out there. Her question is, when I go out for dinner with a guy, should I offer to pay for dinner? I always feel awkward when the bill arrives. What do I do?
I think offering is okay. Um, I either way, right? First date, guy should pay.
Yeah, by the way, 50 Cent literally like totally agrees with that. He's like, if I ask a girl out on a date, I'm paying for it. So that's it.
Correct. It's not just that. I'm all about traditional roles, and what a better way to show a woman that you want to take care of her and you want to give her some form of security and show that you have this essence of safety and security. Not that a woman needs that, they have that on their own, but women strive and want security, men want confidence. What a good way to show that you have the confidence to do something like that and to provide and show a woman that you can offer some level of security, right? I don't think a woman has to offer to pay, but it's a good gesture.
So what do you think about splitting the bill or going Dutch?
I think it's better the guy just pays for the bill. Go somewhere you could afford. Go to Cheesecake Factory. You don't need to go to the most expensive place. Just make sure it's some level of romance or, right? You don't want to go to McDonald's, but somewhere where it doesn't have to be too expensive that you can afford. And if you can't afford some sort of romantic meal, maybe you need to hold off on dating and get certain things in order before you can date. Now, does that mean all across the board this is the rule? No, there's always exceptions. For me, when I started dating my wife, I paid for the first couple dinners. I hadn't even started school yet. I think I just got into my master's program, and there were points where sometimes she would pay, or sometimes we would split, or we just had an understanding and we knew where we were headed. So it's also really case by case.
Right. No, absolutely. So, you brought up traditional values and the topic of equality. And some girls, they prefer to split the bill, or some guys want to split the bill because they want the girl to know that they see them as an equal.
Okay, then everything is equal, everything, and the girl has to be on the same page. Every decision is equal. Then it's a different dynamic that is, again, case by case, and two people have to find some understanding of that. I'm not going to wave it off and say that's not okay and it's unhealthy. Everyone is different. Generally speaking, I like traditional roles, but hey, if you're a man and you want to set up the dynamic of the relationship with this equality thing, then the girl in front of you, 9 out of 10 times, will probably not want that. But if you continue, and you might find that 1 out of 10 girl, and you two can find that understanding together.
So, okay, suppose you have two people on a date and one grew up in a traditional household where they saw the man taking care and paying for the woman, and the other person on the date saw their parents have a more like equitable modern relationship, which is also both are completely fine. On the date, how do they navigate that payment situation when the bill comes?
They navigate it the way they think they should navigate it, and the result will be probably not good. But that in itself is an understanding that, hey, we're not a match.
Because they're not financially compatible.
Our values are different. And then they part ways. I can't say, oh, they need to mend to match each other at that point. Like, it's okay. Sometimes you have to understand that there's a difference. There needs to be that conflict or disagreement to realize there's no future here.
So, do you think the issue of paying for dinner or other dating expenses is an important factor in determining compatibility?
I wouldn't say it's the biggest factor or one of the biggest factors, but you can tell a lot by just that one interaction where someone's values and goals stand. I guess it could be a pretty important one.
And what if paying for the date becomes a source of tension or argument? How should you handle that without damaging the relationship?
Either party should just not engage and keep calm. Ideally, should not really make it a thing, but if you're in a situation where you see the other person just being rowdy or getting aggressive, just do whatever needs to happen and walk away.
In those cases, when the bill comes and it becomes awkward, there's like a silence and there's a kind of like a confusion of who should pay. How should that situation be handled if we're talking about traditional roles here?
If the bill gets there
The bill
and
gets there.
no one's touching it,
Maybe the guy just wants to lengthen the date and talk with her more.
yeah, I think as the girl, you just need to keep cool. And, if you're sitting there for now an hour and the bill is still there, or 30 minutes, maybe something like, hey, it's getting late. I gotta wake up early tomorrow. Let's get out of here. Some sort of comment to wind things down. So hopefully some action happens after that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about it now, and when the bill comes, when I'm on a date, the guy takes it. It's just I make a point of thanking the guy afterwards.
You don't need to offer, but it's a good gesture. It's a small little gesture, and guys really appreciate that. And a gentleman will say, absolutely not.
Last thing, do the rules about who pays for the date change over the course of the relationship? For example, should the person who pays on a first date change as the relationship progresses?
There's a standard there. Again, I like for the guy to be able to do that. But at that point, after you've gotten to know one another, you guys figure it out together. That's the beauty. I don't think having rules at that point is fun or fair. You guys figure it out, and that's what creates the health of the relationship, figuring those things out together.
Yeah, and maintaining transparent communication and honesty and all that,
Yeah.
so long as
Right.
it's respectful.
I can't write out a formula like guys pay the first four, then at the fifth date, offer to pay and she could pay, and then the sixth, seventh, and eighth, like
Mhm.
guys figure it
Or
out.
or you ordered X, Y, and Z. You're paying for that. I
Correct.
got, water, extra ice. Yeah, that doesn't
Correct.
happen. I
Well,
agree with you. But at least the first three dates, the guy should pay.
yeah, I agree.
I'm sure our listeners learned a lot, Rodney. A huge thank you to you for sharing your expertise and helping us break down this listener's dating dilemma. You've given us a lot of valuable tips, as always, to navigate the modern dating world with confidence and intention. Rodney, actually, before you wrap up, where can our listeners find more of your work and connect with you? I'm sure they'll want to keep following you for more dating advice.
They could find me on Instagram, which is probably the best place. My Instagram is Rodney Rabani. I also have a Facebook group on Facebook. It's called Question of the Day. And DMing me through Instagram is probably the best way to contact.
Definitely check that out, everyone. And to our listeners, if you have your own dating questions or topics that you'd like us to cover in the future, click on the link in the captions and submit your question. We love hearing from you. So you could definitely submit your questions. Just go through the link provided and submit it anonymously. As always, thanks for tuning in to 52. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with your friends. Because we all know love is better when it's shared. Until next time, stay confident, intentional, and authentic. Happy dating. The content in this podcast is for entertainment and is not mental health, medical, or personal relationship counseling. It is not a substitute for professional expertise and judgment from a licensed healthcare or mental health professional. You should seek the advice of a qualified professional when seeking mental health or medical advice to obtain a diagnosis or any treatment regarding your mental health or well-being. The content in this podcast may not be applicable to you and your specific situation. Topics discussed in this podcast may include information that may be considered sensitive or emotionally charged to some people, and therefore listener discretion is advised. References to third-party resources are for informational purposes only, and 52 Inc. takes no responsibility for the content of those resources. This podcast is copyrighted 2025 by 52 Inc., all rights reserved.